All right, welcome to Comic Book Radio. This is Hosting the Hosts, episode 5 with Billy Tucci. I'm your host, Peter Cimetti. Billy Tucci's my guest. I know you're probably thinking, Billy Tucci, wasn't he here like 2 weeks ago? Now, oddly enough, 2 weeks ago, it was raining cats and dogs. It was torrential downpours 2 weeks ago, and now it's torrential downpours again. What on earth? What on earth? What could that mean, Billy?
My goodness, my friend. It's pouring rain out here, too. Hang on. Thank you for having me. I apologize. Our pal Niall Scala could not make it. He has family in. His sister is in from Florida.
Oh, wow.
And you know how that goes. Family first, right, my friend?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to catch up with him again down the line. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Everybody in the chat, really appreciate it. We're going to have a good one tonight. I'm having a good day. Are you having a good day, Billy?
I'm having a terrific day. I'm working on a cover that I can't divulge. I can't give away two secrets that'll be announced at San Diego Comic-Con this year or next year. A book that's coming out next year, so I have to finish that. Oh, Peter, I got a lot to do. I have to finish this double cover. I have to do our She San Diego Comic-Con special edition cover, which is going to be really cool. It's going to be she in a little bit of Barbie influence behind it. I've got to finish.
Did you say Barbie?
Yeah, a little Barbie influence behind it. I got to finish my the She Gatecrasher Ash Can, which is our next crowdfunded book, which comes at the end, which launches the end of August. Original graphic novel. So I got to finish that Ash Can. We're fulfilling Zombie Sama. We're basically fulfilled everything in Zombie Sama except for my Ash Can because I haven't finished it. And old Mrs. Tucci ain't too happy with old Billy Boy there.
Oh man, she's a vicious taskmaster, huh?
She's a vicious taskmaster. My wife is German, Polish, Lithuanian, and mean, and Catholic on top of it. Oof, and from Long Island. So you know, she's from Queens originally. So you know that must be like, huh, buddy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had family in Queens growing up, Brooklyn too.
Man, tough. So yeah, so I got to do that, and then get this Senryaku book, 240-page Senryaku omnibus, out to the printer by San Diego.
Oh my Lord, Billy!
What's holding me up is the design of the actual Senryaku, the pages and bios. None of my friends, none of all these artists are sending me in bios.
Just make them up.
That's what I'm doing. So I'm basically making them up. So I'm having like Jay Lee, was from a planet that was in dire need and about to explode, and luckily his parents put him in a rocket ship and sent him to Earth, light years away.
See, anything you make up is going to be far more interesting than what they're going to send you anyway,
just
right?
Do that with everybody.
Yeah.
And I got to write my letter and little things like that. It's a lot. It's a big book. It's more of a. And thank you for having me on to promote the omnibus edition. Yeah,
the thing is, I was going to say, though, is that between all this, now you're a very busy guy, obviously. Mm-hmm. We just ran through just a little bit of what you're doing. How do you have the time? Now, of course, in case you don't know, hosting the hosts, it's a little bit different from the regular standard comic book radio format, but it's kind of the same. But the whole point of it is to get people like yourself who come on here to talk about their channels and how they promote people as well, because that's what you do as well. You also have people on your channel, your social media, whatever it is, and you talk to them also about their projects and what they're doing. Yeah, and you help promote them.
Yep, Niall Scala and I have done almost 700 shows. Peter, I'm proud to say you were one of our very first guests almost 4 years ago. So I think we've done like we were saying, this is this is something that Niall and I do. I know we should promote it more. Getting those big numbers. Everyone, people say, why don't you have 100,000 viewers? And I get it, but this is something that we like to do, and especially with COVID, we got a way to interact with other creators, our friends, and I love promoting other people's comics. I really do, and I love talking to other creators. That's one of the best parts of Comic Cons and comic, just the comic industry in general is just to meet, other creators and then help to, when we first started in '94, there was a couple of us. So you had me, Brian Polito, Francisca Polito, his wife, Jeff Smith, his wife Ijaya, Terry Moore, his wife Robin, among others, and we helped each other out. We were these independent outlaws, if you will, and we would take it on the mainstream. But we love to cross promote, so we give each other ads in our books, talking each other up, things like that, and that's what's happening now with crowdfunding. And again, we're closing in on 700 shows, Niall and I, in the past 4 years. They're almost
Congrats.
4 years. I think it's 4 years now, and it's I'd say if 650 of them really have been promoting crowdfunded books, other creators. So it's something we like to do.
Incredible.
Yep.
How do you find the time, Billy?
Well, I've learned a long time ago that when people say, where does the time go? Well, I found out where the time goes.
Where?
And it goes to Cleveland.
It goes to Cleveland.
Yep. So my friend J.C. Vaughn was the one to let me know that, where's the time go? Cleveland. So I was able to channel Cleveland, and I'm able to do all this.
Incredible, Billy.
Incredible. I know. I'm incredible. It's wonderful. I'm wonderful and incredible, and you're a beautiful man.
Is this a discovery that is backed by peer-reviewed science?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Just ask the Twitter.
Incredible, man. Yes. All right, so right now on the show today, Billy Tucci has just revealed one of the greatest secrets in the universe, which is when you ask, where does the time go? It goes to Cleveland, Ohio?
Yes, Cleveland, Ohio. Well, I don't want to give away too much.
Is there a specific place in Cleveland or just all of Cleveland?
I'll tell you in the after show chat.
We got anybody in the chat that's from Cleveland? Anybody watching later on from Cleveland?
Let me know. They'll know exactly where it goes. I am privy to some very, very secretive information, and I'm not sure I want to share it. I see Zaid, he's here. Phil, good to see you. Is that Z Comics?
That's Z Comics.
Yeah. Sorry, Z. What's up, Z? But many people think it goes to Chicago. It doesn't go to Chicago.
Wow.
It does not go to Chicago. It goes to Cleveland.
I thought it would have went to like Switzerland, where all the clocks and the watches.
Ooh.
Time paradox. Maybe it's on like some kind of a ley line.
It could be.
I don't know. I've never been in Cleveland. I've been. Let me see. I've passed through Cincinnati. I've been in Columbus, Ohio. I'm sure there were a couple other towns and cities in Ohio that I was in, but never Cleveland. Is Cleveland real?
It's fantastic. They had a great radio station out there, WKRP. Not sure if you're familiar with it, but it was exceptional.
I thought WKRP was Cincinnati.
Oh, dang it! It was. It was. See, I'm wrong.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Who knows? Who knows, my friend? How are you? I'm pretty terrific.
I'm good. I'm busy as well. You know how it is. I mean, obviously. Gearing up for King Cryptid to launch on July 8th instead of July 1st. So
Ooh.
I needed the extra week to make sure everything was good and ready to go and not rushed. And, because the backers deserve it to not be a rushed, sloppy mess just because I originally said July 1st and thought I could have hit that date. But you know how it is. Things pile up, the last minute emergencies that come, by the buckets. And then all of a sudden, you're like, man, I really could use an extra week. And then I sat there and realized the only one saying that I don't deserve the extra week really is me. So I'm going to give myself that extra week.
Take that extra week, old chum. Take it.
Exactly. I mean, the 4th is my birthday. And,
happy birthday, brother.
Thank you, man. So I figured, okay, I'll enjoy my birthday. It won't be like a crowdfunding. Oh, my God, back to the crowdfunder. Instead it'll be like have a nice day off. It's the only full day off a year I give to myself, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this year. But instead, I'll do that, and then we'll launch and get ready to go. Hey, Stato, what's up? Thank you for joining the show tonight. Fritzy says, I enjoyed Billy's work on Jonah Hex and Sergeant Rock. Any chance Billy will come out with his own Western or war comic, or an original IP with a male protagonist?
I am working. We have a war comic. It's called Company Z, and thank you. It's called Company Z, and it's basically the story of World War II reenactors who know everything about the U.S. Airborne in World War II, the 82nd Airborne, the 101st Airborne. They know everything about Band of Brothers and all, but they've never been in combat. They've never been in the Army, and they are part of this parachute demonstration team. And, well, wouldn't you know it, there's a gosh darn zombie apocalypse, which is
basically... I was going to say, I bet there's zombies.
It's a human strain of rabies outbreak. And now these men have to trade in blank ammunition for real ammunition and literally parachute into an elementary school to save a bunch of kids.
Oh, wow.
And it's comedy, but it's got a lot of heart to it, and that is in the pipeline, if you will.
Got a heart and guts.
Yes, hearts and guts, and you'll see a lot of hearts and guts too.
Hey, Bub66, thanks for joining tonight. Citizen Ronan as well says, he goes, baby, if you ever wondered whatever became of me, I'm living on the air in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I really blew that one, didn't I, Peter?
There you go. It's all right.
I really blew that one.
It's all right. Aloise, what's up? Thank you for joining the show. Hex Allen as well. Hey, Hex. Stato says, I'll be there for Company Z. Loved Sergeant Rock, one of the most sincere war books I have ever read.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. Salute.
Yeah, very nice. All right, so going back a bit to the fact that you guys are running that POPXP channel. Now, you got Niall on there as well as a co-host. Blevins is still there too, right?
Yeah, I was actually going to see if Blevins, if you would have minded Blevins coming on tonight. And I was talking to Blevins, but I didn't know. I don't know. It's a crazy day. We shipped out another couple of hundred Zombie Sama books, and I'm working. I'm all stressed out with these covers, and I just wasn't sure if it was okay for you to have him on, but
yeah, no problem. I mean, the thing is, with this show, we go an hour long, and then the second half, I put a link in there in the chat. So if anybody wants to come in the chat and join us live on air, if you got a question or a comment for Billy, feel free. So at that point in time, I mean, if Blevins wants to even join before then, Blevins, are you in the chat? Say something. If you are, I'll put the link in there early, and Brian, you can join.
Or if you put the link, if you put the in the private chat, put the link, I'll copy it and I'll send it to him. See if he wants to talk to it. But the thing with the show is that it was again 4 years ago that Niall and I were. I was doing a store signing with John Brolia of Zombie Sama, my partner in Zombie Sama, and we did a store signing. And Niall came down, and we just became friends. When I launched my first crowdfunded book, my first Kickstarter actually, which was for the World War II hoodie we did. That somebody, some Chi-Com company had taken my art and were selling hoodies on it with my art. Took my name off and talked to our lawyer. He said, literally, the only way for you to kind of stop them from doing that is that you become a manufacturing brand yourself of T-shirts and all, the T-shirt manufacturer, hoodie manufacturer yourself. So we decided to do that, and we did it as a Kickstarter. We got 240 backers, and Niall came down for the launch. We had no idea what we were doing, but we got them out and did a 30-day campaign. Got those hoodies and shirts out, and I don't know, within 60 days or so. And my wife and I are like, wow, we could do this. And not unlike you, Peter. It's
and that was your first foray into crowdfunding.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And then we did, of course, we did Zombie Sama, and then in the She books, and because I had published, 100 books, before that, it's kind of easy, to do. It wasn't easy. Nothing's easy, but it wasn't.
You get a rhythm.
You get a rhythm, right? And you're able to do it, and we're able to fulfill. And I'm real proud of our fulfillment record, but I digress to talk about hosting the hosts. So Niall and I went to Starbucks, I think, afterwards, and
where
we just
dreams
talking.
are made.
Yeah, and he was like, I want to do a show about reviewing, crowdfunded books. This is when Kickstarter's just started. I didn't even know about Indiegogo yet, right? Really.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I had this idea too, crowdfunding comics, and just talk about all these crowdfunded comic projects. And he's like, let's do this. So we created the new channel, Crowdfunding Comics. Of course, then it expanded to the POPXP because, we started having, Tom Lennon on, and and other mainstream artists.
Yeah, things that weren't just crowdfunded.
Yeah, that
projects.
weren't crowdfunding.
Yeah.
We didn't want to pay. We still have a crowdfunding comic show. We still have the the Thursday Night Live with Billy Tucci, which I'd love for you to come on when the campaign launches.
I would love to.
Yeah, that'd be great to have you on. Then Steven Semino's Go Boom, where we had a few weeks ago when John Romita Sr. passed away. We had Roy Thomas on, and John Romita Jr. was on, and a couple of other greats just talking about John Romita's legacy and impact on the comics industry and how he literally changed so many of our lives. So it's kind of a well-rounded show, and maybe that's our problem, why it's not a huge super channel. But then again, we don't really want it to be. It's kind of cool to be kind of a
quality over quantity.
Yeah,
you know
man,
what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen so many channels where I'm like, they got like that many subs. They got like 60, 70,000 subs. Because then you look at the views and you're like, really?
Yeah. Niall's more into that. Yeah, Niall is now starting to get more into it because of, I think we've got less than 5,000 subs. But if you look at our shows, we're getting like per
you guys are doing good.
Over 1,000, almost 2,000, 2,000 viewers. So we have a massive ratio. Some people have 500,000 subs and they'll get 10,000 people watching their shows. So we have a good ratio, and that's cool, and that's what I like. It's just something fun, something to talk about. Tomorrow on Thursday Night Live, I got my cash grab books in from Cecil. So we got, and I hung out with Cecil this past weekend. We had so much fun, Peter. You missed a great show.
That was in Jersey, right?
Oh, God, it was so much fun. So I'm hanging out with Cecil, and I'm like,
you guys had a blast.
Oh, it was so much fun. Like, Cecil, you got to come on my show on Thursday. Like, okay. So,
that was a good Cecil.
Huh?
That was a good Cecil.
Oh, hello. I think I could imitate him if I try.
Yeah. He's
like, yeah, I'll come on. He's like, yeah, I'll come on the show. Why not? Because he's a good time, and you want good guests, you want fun, good guests, and you want to enjoy ourselves, have fun with this. It's
absolutely.
A virtual Comic-Con, right? It's a virtual bar con of us just having conversations like we would, at a convention or when you get together with your buddies and stuff like that. And that's why I love it. I like thinking of the internet as a positive, my friend.
Oh yeah, because there could be so many negatives.
Right. What a novel idea. Positive.
Oh man. Now that brings me to a follow-up question for you, and this is maybe advice for those out there that are thinking of doing something like this, whether it's having their own channel or going on someone else's channel. Is there any? You said 700 shows or so you guys have done,
yeah.
Right? Okay, so you guys have experience. You've seen not only a lot of guests come your way, but you've interacted with them and had them on your show as hosts. Yes. Now, is there any advice you could give to people out there that are either going to look to become hosts on their own channel and have people on there to promote, or they're going to become guests, they're looking to go get out there and be guests on channels?
Well, Peter, a big thing is, and a lot of people say it, John Malin says it a lot, is that this is work. So, I'm streaming at least 3 times a week, usually 4 times a week. At least going live at night. And again, it's work because we're out there promoting our product or we're helping others promote their product. It's all part of the industry. Again, me, because I started off as a self-publisher, Peter, I think it came kind of easy for me because I'm out there, you are on, you're promoting.
Yeah, you're the PR team, you're the creation, you're the president, you're the CEO. Yeah,
we've had that conversation, right? When the writing department's working, even though I'm not really writing the books anymore. The last book I wrote was my little Rocketeer story for the Comics for Ukraine, which I wrote and illustrated. But I'm working with writers now because you learn to economize your time. So I have for our main She books, my buddy Steve Perros, who's a screenwriter, and one of my oldest friends. I met him the first day of school of 7th grade.
Wow.
And we became great buds because we were monster kids. We love famous monsters of filmland and stuff. And just someone who's known the character, for 30 years or so. And we'll plot it out together. And I'm like, Steve, you start writing it. and the same thing with J.C. Vaughn, who is usually our editor for the She Books. He's writing the She Gatecrasher book. Again, we come together. We write a timeline, page by page, literally almost a page by page breakdown treatment. And now he's writing it. But as I said, when you're working as a self-publisher, Pete, you're bagging comics. When you're bagging comics, buddy, you're not writing.
Yep.
Right? That's how it is. So again, you have to economize your time, and but the big part of it is promoting. So if somebody wants to start their own show, and I'm coming at it from a creator's point of view, as opposed to someone who just wants to do a comics show, because I'd love to be a critic, really. I read books. I'd love to criticize, critique books, but I'm friends with
commentary, give your thoughts on it.
Yeah, and I just can't. I'm friends with people. I don't want them to get pissed off at me, or if I don't like something. But you see a lot of those shows that I really admire, the people that have a show that do, do critique comics and things like that. But that's one avenue. If you love comics and you want to talk about comics, do that. If you want to start critiquing books, do that. You want to start critiquing comic magazines. A lot of people do Wizard magazine, but there's the old, Comic Buyer's Guide magazines, the old comic shop newspapers that used to come out all the time.
Oh yeah.
Right. There's also the Comic Buyer's Guide was that big newspaper too. You have old Combo magazines, which was a comic magazine, I think probably from 92 to 99 or something like that. So much great stuff in those comics, like a lot of gems, and like keep an eye on this artist, Travis Charest. We think he might be something someday, fun stuff like that. And that's a cool thing for people to do, is you to not only just critique comics, but critique comic press. That's if you want to get in, if you're not a creator. If you are a creator, it's a great way to promote your own books, because the cool thing about today is that I feel that, as someone who's gone through this for almost 30 years now, is that there is no better time to promote your own comics. With the internet out there, that you can get your books out there, you can get your creator-owned property out there, your IPs, whatever you want to call them, out there, because you can do web comics, right? I mean, there's an Eisner Award for best web comics now. Just literally eliminating the biggest part of publishing, which is the printing part, and also the advertising part, because you can just stream. And if you're cool and likable, and or even you're nasty, curmudgeon, your old grumpy puss, people might like that too. But it's all about your personality as a show, and get out there. There are guys that I love. I love Yellow Flash. I love watching him, listening to him. I just think he's a pisser, and he's got great insight. And now he's jumping into as opposed to someone who's just a critic. He's really more of a pop culture, not a critic of pop culture, but he's a pop culture observer.
Yeah, he gives his thoughts, opinions about things.
He's like an opinion. Excuse my glasses. Look at this real quick. I washed I had my glasses in my hoodie, one of my hoodies, and I washed them.
Oh, no way.
And I ruined my really good glasses. So they're like,
oh man.
Anyway, so but again, there's never a better time, and you learn it. I'm still, like I said, Peter, with your show. You get me hot and heavy sometimes. I'll start cussing. Yeah,
I'm gonna try not to get you too hot and heavy tonight.
I told you I'd be.
Okay. Billy effing Tucci over here.
But that's it. And again, your channel is great. Love your books. It's a really awesome community. That there's the CG community, then there's the anti-CG community. Even though for these past two conventions I've spoken to a lot of pros, and a lot of pros coming up to me saying people are accusing me of being CG. And I'm like,
more and more people are going to get that.
And I'm like, accusing you, and there was a lot of them, and like, well, and one of them said, so basically, they're calling me CG because I'm not a big fan of people standing on the shoulders of giants and then pissing on their heads, which a lot of these new creators and fans are doing. And if you critique that, you're basically stating the obvious that it's not working. Then they want to label you somehow. But then again, I don't think CG is a negative, a label anyway. That's just me. But then again, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm friends with everybody. I don't care. I mean, as long as you're not you're not a nasty person, you're not a poopy pants, then you're okay.
Well, we live in the time of labels our identity, right? And it's kind of almost always been that way to some extent or another. But in the internet, it's fast and furious. Whatever some idiot across the planet decides to label you, if it catches fire, all of a sudden that's you, and you're like, what are you talking about? You don't even know me.
Right.
know, what really gets me, because that kind of stuff, it's going to happen. It is what it is. But what gets me is people who do know you, and then they come along and then they buy into what the crazy random person on the internet who they don't even know who the hell they are, let alone if they're a real sincere individual. And then they buy into it, and you're like, wait. You know me. We've been friends for years and years. And they're saying all this, I'm this hateful, this and that and whatever. And I'm like, what are you doing over here buying into all of that? And that's the part to me that's strange. But I think the more we go on, it's like anything else with this kind of thing. The more the time passes, the more it's going to become a lot of people going, oh, I was told that I'm CG now, and what is this and that? It's like, yeah, guess what? That's how most people were accused of being whatever, CG or this and that. And you find it in every field. And I hate to interrupt you on this, but you find it in every field. You find it in all aspects of entertainment. You find it in various business. And you find it in various even things like, and I know you're into this this field as well, this topic of interest, but you even find it in the paranormal communities, where it turns into not CG, but it's everything has become shorthand as an insult to say that you're this, that, whatever phobe, or this, that, whatever ist. So as soon as you go against something that's essentially the mainstream establishment narrative in any way, shape, or form, whatever that may be, whatever the approved narrative is that's being pushed by corporations or the government or both, all of a sudden you are XYZ, these bad things. And it's across the board. Yeah.
Well, there's that old story and where someone said, well, you're a communist. And like, oh, thank you, Fritzy. And you're like, I'm not a communist. And they're like, yes, you are, because I just said you were. That sort of thing back in the day. And and I've had this conversation. I was like, wow, with Billy, I can't believe, Billy's always been the nicest guy. And I'm like, wait a minute. I've known you for 25 years. Have you ever heard me say a bad thing about anyone in comics? Can you find me saying a bad thing about anyone in comics anywhere? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, who is this? Well, so-and-so said. I'm like, well, who is this person? Who is that? They don't even have a name. So their name is something like, the name is like, I don't know what, Enchanted Bunny, number 13. They don't even have
Apologies to Enchanted Bunny number 13. We don't know if you're out there.
Apologies to the delightful, because I'm sure you're a swell chap. But this is the thing. They've got these weird names. They say these things. Someone sent me this stuff, and I'm like, I don't care about it. But they're like, I've heard things about Billy Tucci. I've heard some nice things about so and so, but Billy Tucci not so much. Or mine is Ori, like with she, who's nominated for, who's lost a couple of Eisners. That she is Orientalist. I can't even say the word. Orientalist garbage sort of thing, misogynistic garbage. Like, where do you see that? Show me that in the book. It's pretty pathetic. But
it's funny because when you say it like that, I would imagine the person giving that commentary is the racist bigot.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Who says that? Who says that
if you see she and go, it's Orientalist garbage. Yeah, I'd be like, all right, I'm backing away from the racist.
Yeah, like okay, man. But then again, you're also working like with that whole comics that hashtag comics broke me. Thing that.
Now be careful, Billy. Be careful. Last time you got very upset.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. And I'm not getting it. Nah,
you let that now. You let the F-bombs fly.
Yeah. But you had the you have an entire generation of these new creators, and thank you, Skits. And they're a generation, and I'm partly responsible for this because we did this with our kids, even though we're not fans of it. But they were raised in a generation where everyone gets a trophy. Just for participating, you get a trophy. And now these people, it's the only form of entertainment, because comics are entertainment, but it's the only form of entertainment or only entertainment medium, where people think that they're entitled to make a career out of creating comics or to be successful out of making comics.
There's an entitlement issue across the board lately that's definitely been fueled big time by the internet.
I mean, someone wants to be an actor, you don't see them, well, I want to be the next Brad Pitt. And I should be the next Brad Pitt. I deserve to be the next Brad Pitt. I went to 4 years of school. I went to, NYU to learn how to act. I got a bachelor's degree.
It reminds me of, are you a Seinfeld fan, Tucci?
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay. It reminds me of that scene when Jerry's talking to George and it's about the TV deal.
Mm-hmm.
And George is obsessed with, Ted Danson makes this much. I'm better than Ted Danson. Why can't this, be my salary? And Jerry's like, you're not Ted Danson.
Yeah. I think
and it's like he can't get it.
Yeah, he said, I'm better than Ted Danson. He goes, I'm not. And Jerry goes, you're worse.
You're worse. Much
that's
worse.
So funny because these people like George, and again, this whole comics broke me and woe is me because I'll give you an example. If this was Billy Tucci, say I was Beta Billy Tucci, right? Okay. Beta Billy Tucci is now today as opposed to Billy Tucci 30 years ago. And here I am, and I have Twitter, and I love throwing every problem I have out there, or, going to see another publisher with my new comic book, with She, and going to these publishers and getting rejected. And every time I get rejected, I bitch about it. And then finally, for the last one, I go to a publisher who's a friend of mine, and I push She. I had the first, the full color version of She #1, and I pitched it and all, and he's like, nah, I'm sorry. Girl books just don't sell. Girl books don't sell. Imagine now if I was Beta Billy Tucci today, I'd be like this on Twitter. Oh my God. And the third publisher denied me, rejected once again. And this
let's keep it to the time period that you were at. You would be going around the convention up and down to every table saying, did you know this publisher said you said blah, 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 it's
yeah. But can you imagine me today if I was like, woe is me back then? I'm like, hashtag,
and you'd still be in the position you're in.
Yeah, another, misogynistic publisher turned me down, and they had the audacity to say, girl books don't sell. Hashtag girl books don't sell. Let's make a whole new hashtag. And we can all pat each other on the back.
And the thing is, what you're doing at that point in time, and the people that do that, now obviously this is a theoretical situation that you were in, but people do that similar thing. And what they're doing is that they're essentially surrendering any kind of power to someone else.
Right.
And they're always putting themselves in a victim position. Now, in this day and age where victimhood can lead into forms of various blackmail, emotional or otherwise, maybe that'll get you a gig here or there. You kind of twist the arm and you do the old, well, it'd be a shame if someone found out that that's how you were. And okay, yeah, well, you can get this gig doing this thing and whatever. But the thing is, there's no longevity. There's no longevity in it because you're constantly surrounding yourself with people who are just telling you, yeah, okay, yep, you can do that thing because they're scared. They're scared that you're going to turn on them and then you're going to basically cancel them, get them fired, whatever it may be. But they're always positioning themselves in these bad positions.
Right. And then they'll do a GoFundMe. And then because once they're
it's
not
like the
working,
Rocky speech in the beginning that I'm talking about.
Yeah, they do a couple of books. The books don't do well. No one's going to give them bad reviews. They just the numbers just drop out. The bottom falls out on the book. No one's buying them. But again, people are afraid to make reviews. The ones that do give it a bad review are obviously racist, homophobic, et cetera, ableist, ablephobic, whatever you want to call it. But then they'll do.
And then they're never improving and growing and being better. But they're quick to turn it around, aren't they? And
yes, they are, sir. Yes, they are, because then they go and they'll do a GoFundMe, correct? But then you get these major players. You will get editors donating to their GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Right, to give them $50, to give them $100, and then they retweet it. See, so and so, gave me money because I can't afford to pay my electric bill. So and so has donated $100, and now this person's patting themselves on the back. But the thing is, that person giving that money is only enabling them.
Yes.
In their pity, because these people have the ability to hire them, and they're not.
Yeah.
If they really wanted to help them, they would hire them, but they're not going to hire them because they're not good enough to do to be writing comics. I'm sorry, or for those specific companies. Maybe with their own books, they can do their own thing, but this is a business, and people have to understand this is a gosh darn business. If she didn't take off, I would find something else to do. I was designing children's wear. Yeah. I would have went back to that. I was in the National Guard.
That's what happens is a constant lowering of the bar.
Yep.
And this really came about when the concept of, and we're going to go to break in a little bit, but the concept of equity got pushed. And equity is such a false concept. And the only way you're going to ever have true equity is when we get to the lowest common denominator, which is generally death.
Yes.
That's when we all become equal again. We start off equal as soon as we're born, and then we die equal.
And then
everything in between, we all live life differently. We all have different experiences. We're all dealt a different hand, and we all do as much as we can with that hand.
100%.
Doesn't make you bad. Doesn't make you good. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Even the word I'm seeing that gets bandied about as being horrible, and they put a lot of morality to it, would be the word normal. Normal has nothing to do with moral. It has nothing to do with good or bad. It has to do with what's an average. It's a statistical word.
Right.
It is normal because of the fact that there are far more of this thing than that thing. So it's normal. It's normal for people to generally have 2 arms and 2 legs and 2 hands and a head and 2 eyes, etc. It doesn't mean that you're a good person because you have that, or you're a bad person if you don't. But there's morality assigned. Every single thing is like a referendum on morality lately, 100%. So even when it comes to this kind of stuff, if you have an opinion on a comic book character, it's a referendum on your morality and who you are as an individual. And it's a shame because if anything, for all the conversation we see of things like diversity and inclusion and yada yada, we're getting less and less diverse and inclusive because everyone goes, you have to just have this proper opinion. And if you don't have that proper opinion, off with you. Right. But hey, come back when you're more diverse and inclusive. Right. It's like you're not leading by example though, which is the only way you get anything truly ever done in a way that lasts and is sincere. That's why it's not gonna last and it's not sincere.
No, it's not. And I feel for those people, but then but come on, I'm sorry. Not everyone's Tom Brady. Not everyone's gonna be Brad Pitt. Not everyone's gonna be Tom Cruise.
Well, and you don't necessarily have to be. Okay, so one other thing, Billy, we're 40 minutes in. I usually take a break at a half hour, but we're going to take a break and then we'll come back to this conversation. So right now, you guys are watching Comic Book Radio. This is Hosting the Hosts with my guest, Billy Tucci, here from POPXP. This is episode 5. I'm your host, Peter Samedi. We'll be right back in just 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. you're watching Comic Book Radio. I'm here with my guest, Billy Tucci. Billy, I was going to play your She trailer, but I thought that was going to end up being a segue into talking about that, and I want to finish our conversation first, and then you can present it, and then we'll show it. Deal? Oh, you're muted, Billy.
Please do, my friend.
Okay, all right. So, before we get into that, I'm going to put in the link here for you guys. And thank you all for joining with us and sticking with us. Hey, Dr. Mask, what's up?
Dr. Mask.
So, you're saying, everyone can't be the star. Everyone can't be the Tom Brady, the Brad Pitt, the yada yada, whatever it is in your mind is the star. But Billy, now you're a hockey guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now I'm going to take you back to the Islanders when they were that dynastic tour de force, right? Okay.
Orca. Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah. Now, when you think about that team, sure, they had the Bossies and they had Trottier and they had all these other stars on there. But the reason that any of those teams truly win ever is not necessarily because the stars did what the stars did. It's because of all those other players, the grinders, the bit players, the guys that go in there and they play their ass off, even though they're not the highest paid, they're not the most talented, they're not the star, but they give it their all and they up their game. Every single championship team, and we'll keep it to hockey right now, has done that.
Mm-hmm.
So why people can't seem to calibrate themselves to, instead of trying to go, well, if I'm not the best, I'm the worst, instead of just going, I got what I got, my skill set is what it is, there's always room to improve. True, but it doesn't mean you just, if you're not going to be the best or someone else is better than you, that you either give up or you, instead of trying to improve, you try to tear them down. Like, would it have done any of those Islander teams any good if in the locker room they're all like, it's not fair that Bossy's getting more ice time than me?
Right. Right.
And you start talking shit about him and you start tearing him. Is that improving their game?
Right. And that's the thing is that, but again, going back to, stop. I got my dog here. Go downstairs. I got my puppy here. Hello, puppy. Going back to the mentality of everyone's special, and everyone is special, of course. But everyone, they've grown up in a world where everyone gets a trophy. Everyone gets a trophy, even if you lose, if you don't come in first. They don't want to have first place or second place. It's just a participation. Thank you for playing. And they've grown up with this mentality that they are entitled to these things. They are entitled to certain to certain what's the word I'm looking for? Certain levels of achievement should be handed to them. Instead of achieving them, they're handed to them. And when they don't get it, they don't get their way, because they've always gotten their way, then they don't know how to act, and they retaliate. And how they retaliate is attacking others that they may not agree
lashing
with,
out,
or others that may be more successful than them.
Yeah,
and it's crazy that they do, because they love the corporations. They're
which is so weird,
isn't it, bro? I mean,
oh my lord, is it weird?
Especially if they're supposed to be counterculture type people and all.
Oh man,
no, they're 100% behind Disney and 100% behind DC Comics
because they have the perceived correct politics. But the thing is, they don't give a crap. Follow the actions, not the words.
Yeah. Again, the pencils down order. Here are these corporations. I know we've had this conversation, but these corporations that are worth billions of dollars, and when the comic shops shut down for 2-3 weeks, the corporations shut down, except for their top tier guys. The top tier ones at the
sacred cows
of the apex of the caste system.
Exactly,
they're still getting paid. They're still, you better keep working. But everybody else below that, pencils down, because I can't afford to pay you $100 to ink a comic page, to ink those 22 pages in a month for you to be able to feed yourself. We can't afford that. These corporations worth billions of dollars. And these people then still stand by them and then will attack independent creators who are doing their own thing. It's disgusting. It really is. And like what happened this past weekend, we had a great time at the Garden State Comic Fest, and we went out to a dinner, and we worked our butts off all week. We worked our butts off at the con, and then we went to a nice dinner by ourselves, and we had a great time, a lot of laughs, incredible, sense of incredible, just a positive energy all around. And someone posts the picture of all of us, and then just, the daggers start coming out. But we're all, dagger proof. We're bulletproof, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, at this point, forget it.
Yeah.
It's the same playbook every time. But it's a shame that it's still being used. It's a shame that there isn't. But you know what, though? At the same time, it's not surprising, even though it's a shame. Because they're not in a system to learn and reassess and go, as much as they tell you to do better, be better, grow, yada yada. Right. They're not in a position to take that advice for themselves and go, this isn't working for me. Right. I'm miserable. I'm upset. I see things and I see people who are successful and I get upset about that. I should be inspired by that. I should be seeking advice on what to do to attain that level of success. You're talking about the trophy generation and that kind of a thing. When kids are upset and they go, I'm upset we didn't win. We didn't get the trophy. I want the trophy. They should be instructed by the coaches and the parents to go, if you want that trophy, let's work harder.
Yeah.
Let's work harder. Let's work on improving. Let's work on giving it our all. And then, what happened to there's always next year. There's always the next whatever, and that was the motivation and that was the lesson. Was that I remember this going back to hockey again. I remember this quote, and it was Gretzky about your Islanders when Edmonton had lost to them that first time. And Gretzky goes, and I don't know if you know this quote, and this,
I do, yeah,
I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, but he goes, we could have went, 10 games with this team. It's such a shame, I'm thinking, we could have beat them, and we just needed more time, and we're so much better, we're more talented. And then I pass their locker room, and I see the Islanders they're barely breathing, they're bandaged up, they're exhausted, they're not celebrating, they're quiet, because they gave it everything they got. And we're over here, we're energized, we're enthusiastic. We could have won, more games. And he's like, and I realized that's why they won.
Yeah, and the thing was that the Islanders beat them 4 games straight.
Yeah.
It was 4-0. They beat them, and they swept them. And again, like you said, Gretzky here with all these young guys, and they were upset, and we should have won. We were the better team. Blah blah blah. And this is the Islanders that beat them, I think, 3 years in a row, or 2 years in a row. And in another playoff series. And you said Gretzky walked by, and I think a couple of the guys were with them, and they walked by their locker room, and there they were, like you said, quiet, and they got ice packs on, and they're like, this is what it takes to win.
Yeah.
That was a big wake-up call for them. And then they started a dynasty themselves. They won 2 cups in a row and then won another. They won 5. I think they won 4 cups in 5 years themselves. But, you can't win things on talent alone. It takes a lot more. It takes grit. Like you said, those players, those grinders, those bangers, the guys digging in the corners, the ones that want it. You got to want it, and you have to get it because
and you got to dig deep, and you got to make all those sacrifices, and you got to do what it takes, because every single person you see that has had success, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So few of them are coming in coasting along, and they show up and success just falls at their feet.
Right. And the thing is, they hit me with that. Well, she was an overnight success. Yeah, I was working on this for 4 years. This book. Yeah.
And
redrawing pages and rewriting scripts, and then I had my buddy Peter Gutierrez come in, and why don't you, he had ideas like, why don't you write this with me? And then Peter's started taking over the writing, and he added a whole nother element to it, and we threw out more pages, and it had to be right. And it just it's very strange. Is that. Again, one of the guys had said, I hate with a capital H this libertarian pull yourself up by your bootstraps to become a success in comics. Well, how else are you going to do it? Especially self-publishing. How are you going to do that unless you do it yourself?
Yeah.
You know, you got like I said, Zayd. What's up, Phil? You got the Zayd brothers. You know, these young guys.
Yeah, and you don't have to necessarily, and you shouldn't sit there and go, I can do it all alone. I don't need anybody else's help. I don't need anyone. You know, no, that's not the mentality. If anything, you should be like, no, I want to learn from people.
Yeah.
And when I have questions, I'll ask, and I'll be polite, and I'll be appreciative. That's the attitude. But it's interesting. People that aren't looking for a handout, they're looking for a hand up.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, we got before I go into your trailer, we do have 2 guests waiting in the wings. I'm going to take one at a time. Let's try our best to keep these concise, to the point, and you got a question or comment for Billy. Let's see here. Hey, Pops Van Zandt, what's up, Pops?
Yo, what's up, Pops?
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Eat his steak, Billy.
What'd he say?
What was that?
Anthony eat his steak, bro.
Something about steak.
Did Anthony eat all of his steak for real? We gotta know.
Did Anthony eat all of his steak?
I don't know. I think all of us ate our steaks.
Yeah, did he eat the whole thing? Because there's been some controversy on Twitter about whether or not he ate the whole
I think Cecil and Ethan got the biggest steaks, and they ate all their steaks.
Okay. But we're wondering about
Anthony. They ate them steaks, man. That's for sure, Pops.
No, I want to congratulate you guys both on your awesome continued success. Because
thank you, brother.
It just keeps going, man. I'm, nothing but impressive. But when you said something earlier, Billy, about pencils down, that's what created what I do. That's what created the network, and everything that I've done, CromCon, everything I've done since then was when it all shut down.
Yeah.
And that was also the day I quit paying attention to what mainstream's doing, because I didn't think they cared about us anymore. And that's kind of proven to be true.
And they don't know what the hell they're doing.
No, they really don't.
Oh, sorry.
You guys look like you were having a blast.
Dude, we did have a blast. Yeah.
You looked like you were on top of the world.
Man. Yeah. We literally took over that con, and it was so great. There had to be 200 people there just for us.
Oh, that's incredible. So no problems at all? No one gave you guys any crap?
Who's going to say stuff to us?
Oh, beautiful.
Exactly.
It's
the
the
same
online,
bro. It's
only online.
I went through. Bunny is saying stuff to us behind, 400 miles away in his mother's basement typing away. That's who said something about us.
Yep.
So it's just fun. We had a great time,
That's
man.
Great,
we had such a great time, and
That's the real world for you.
Yeah.
Talking tough on Twitter, but then
you get away from the internet, and people are real.
Yep.
Okay? And people are real, and they come up and they look at the talent involved in your book, and whether they like you or not, they probably walked away with your book.
Yeah, we had fun, and we all just had a great time. I mean, it was just laughing. It was a terrific time. It truly was, and it was a full time. Dr. B,
what's going on?
Hey, I just saw you back there.
No, it's all good, man. What's up? My hair is horrible. What's up with all this?
I don't know. No mirrors in the house, Blevins?
Man, yeah, there are mirrors, but I don't like to look in them. You know what I'm saying?
It's summertime. You're forgiven.
Great to see you, man. It's been
great
forever.
To see you too. Yeah. We'll leave you on. We'll leave you on for the rest of the show. Man, oh man.
Brett Blevins. Hey, thanks.
Pops, thank you so much for stopping by, man. Really appreciate you, brother.
It's always good talking to you guys, man. Continue
all
on.
The best. All right, we got somebody else over here too to stop on by and say hello to Billy. We got Stato. What's up, Statistical L0?
Oh, Billy. Hi, Pete. Well, okay, so my Paul Lynn's not quite up where it's going.
I was going to say, are you doing Paul Lynn or Charles Nelson Riley?
Oh. That was good, dude. That was really good.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so a question I have is this. So you did an amazing omnibus at a budget first time around. You're doing another amazing omnibus right now, which should segue into your, once I leave. I'm sure Pete's going to get tired of my beak eventually. Is the next omnibus, is that going to be the Return of the Warrior thing, or is that after the next omnibus?
Well, this is a little conversation the wife and I are having. And Dr. Blevins, Mr. Producer, please let me know your thoughts on it. We are selling out of Okay, so we have a new series coming out, and we're not using Japanese names anymore because it confuses everyone. So the next book, we have a She Gatecrasher, but then there's another She trilogy. She Gatecrasher is going to be standalone comic, where Anna Ishikawa is trapped in comic book time, and she's got to fight through all the decades of comics and through all the genres to get back home. And it's going to be the destroy all monsters of public domain and create her own comic characters. I'm talking to friends left and right, doing character swaps, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But then we're going to start with a new series, which will be the first issue is She the Floating World. After that will be She Battleship Island, and then there'll be another trilogy story. But I would like to do for our next year's omnibus, because we're doing omnibus every year. Right now we have 5 of them planned. Is to do the Return of the Warrior omnibus. Just because we're selling out of a little Return of the Warrior and Haikyuu books. I don't know, Pete, I don't know about you if you make a massive overprint, but we do maybe 20% overprinting. And I'm running out of those books. All the Return of the Warrior hardcovers are gone.
I try to double it, but I don't print graphic novels anymore.
Okay.
So it would be different. It'd be like 30%, but 20 to 30% would be good because they're huge. You need a lot of room for that.
Yeah, and Return of the Warrior came out almost 3 years ago. So it's where the numbers of the books are dwindling, and we want to retain readers, or more specifically, want to bring new readers in. So that's why I'm wondering if our next omnibus, next 2024's omnibus, should actually be the Return of the Warrior omnibus. So people get to see that story, which will then lead into the Battleship Island trilogy, if you will. And I don't know what you guys think out there, but if not, the next trilogy, the next omnibus, if we don't do that, will be called minis, crossovers, and one-shots, and it'll be a lot of our special editions.
Billy, are you in a position to poll your audience, maybe? Like put a Twitter poll out there, or however you would do it, and be like, what omnibus do you guys want next? And see what's what?
I think I'm going to do that when the time comes closer to it. Because I think right now everyone's going to want the miniseries and the one-shots and the crossovers. But I'd like to see where we are going, say 8 months from now, 7-8 months from now. So that's the thing. Thank you. But
all right. Mission accomplished. Back to the chat for me. Great to talk to you guys. Bye.
All right. Thanks so much, Stato. Have a great evening.
I love that, Peter, that you invite everybody on. I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I like doing it where the first half hour or so I talk with the guest, and then the rest of the show I put a link in there. Just in case someone doesn't know the guest, there's enough of okay, I get who this person is. We've learned something about them, and then I can come in and ask a question or a comment or whatever if they want.
Do you mind if me and old B-Lev steal that?
We try to, go for it. That's why it's called Comic Book Radio. I try to treat it like it's a radio show.
It used to be on Mondays. It was so good. I'm glad you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all over the place now. Comic Book Radio is so many different sorts of things. Before it was Open Mic Monday, and then it turned to Open Mic Wednesday, and then I kind of had feedback forum with like Comic Book Radio every now and then now everything is just condensed into Comic Book Radio.
I saw you guys run earlier, and I watched a little bit of it, and I broke away because I had a little bit of work to do. But then I saw that it was the link, so it was like, hey, come on. So I didn't know if you guys actually wanted me on to like stay for a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, stay. As long as we're on, stay.
But yeah, like if I can, just huge shout out to one of the best mods in the business, Past Master Dan, for sure, one of the best mods around. Also, man, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even know about this guy. But Joe Catapano has his pre-registration for Star Circuit 2, which I thought was an absolutely incredible indie book for last year. So I know you're probably already talking about all of Billy's stuff, but I just want to throw a couple things that were out there. But
no problem.
Man, like I've been watching your stuff, man. I'm still glad you're running strong and killing the game, man. Killing the game.
Talking to me or Billy?
I'm talking to you, Peter.
Oh, okay. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Peter's a true ambassador for the medium. You really are.
That's right. I sent you a message not too long ago to ask a couple questions about newsprint. because I have a couple things.
Oh crap! You
on
did
in my world.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, Blevin's got something big cooking.
Send it through Facebook, which I know you're absolutely.
Facebook.
No,
I've been gone.
I sent it
Been
through
beautiful.
Twitter. I sent it through Twitter. I didn't hear anything.
All right, give me like a yo, and then put the DM back up and let me see, because my stuff gets so buried.
No.
I'm sorry.
I didn't do it through Facebook. I did it through Twitter. That was all jokes back then with the whole Facebook customer service and all that stuff. But.
See, Dr. Mask has a question for you, Billy. He wants to know if you're going to be at Terrificon.
No, we will not. It's my son William's 21st birthday. And we asked him, well, you want to, we'll get you a hotel room, because we'll be guests at the con, and we'll get a room for you. And you want to come, and a couple of your friends to come? He's like, no, I want to stay home with my friends. So we're like, all right, so we're going to have a party for him.
Nice.
Yep,
Oh,
so we'll miss it this year. My first time ever missing Terrificon.
Wow.
I love that show. And, but it was pretty, Pete, that was the last time we saw each other, too.
Yeah. I loved meeting you. I loved seeing you. I loved hanging out. But that show. That show. I don't know why.
For yourself?
Oh Lord. So we were guests. We were featured guests, but we were treated poorly.
Oh.
we were put in no man's land.
Yeah.
Next to what I called at the time the DC Comics booth, which was the AT&T booth.
Yeah.
It was a very strange position. Everyone's like, I'm looking for you the whole time throughout the show. I thought you'd be in the guest area, and or with like the publisher area, and I can't find you. And here you are across the the aisle from a craft booth and next to the AT&T wireless booth.
Yeah, because I don't know if I saw you either.
Yeah. I think all I did was like say, "Hey Billy," and then I walked past. The year before we had a panel and whatnot.
And we're like, "Wow, when did you get here? You're on this panel too?"
Oh my Lord, it was very strange, the positioning, and we needed 3 tables and we got 2, and then we had to steal one from the AT&T wireless booth because the AT&T reps didn't show up pretty much the whole weekend. It was all over the place. So I haven't been back since. I don't honestly know if I'm gonna be back. but it was a good show in terms of every other show. The way you meet people, and that's my favorite part about meeting. Is the shows, is seeing the fans and seeing the readers and having conversations and seeing people like you that I'm only really seeing virtually, and then you get to hang out in person. Yeah. But that show, good grief. Oh, goodness. Thank you so much, Fritzy. Fritzy says, Red King Cryptid, great stuff. Appreciate that. Thank you. But, yeah, so I want to show your trailer, Billy, before we wrap up the show. Do you want to preface it with anything, hype it up, explain what it's going to be?
Sure. And thank you, Peter, for that. Chi Senriaku, this is I guess you could say this is Omnibus Volume 2. Of the She Saga. It features 36 individual short stories written by Gary Cohn and illustrated by some of the greatest comic artists in history through beautiful double-page spreads. And we have art by Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, Adam Hughes, George Perez. Oh, God, help me out here, Blevins. Yeah, Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, and David Connor. Yeah, just Dan Jurgens, Umberto Ramos. Man, I mean, the list goes on. Jeff Smith, Terry Moore.
Are any of those guys tweeting and helping you promote?
I ask them. They kind of,
Sons of guns.
Jeff Smith has promoted it. Brian Polito's not even in the book, and he's promoted it. Terry Moore has promoted it. Jimmy has promoted it. Amanda. Nice. But aside from them, not too many.
All right. Well, they should. Anyway, let's.
And the cool thing about this book is that I'd say that 90% of this book has never been published before, because even the color pages. First of all, a third of the colored pages have been remastered and recolored, but you never saw the original color pages in full because there was caption boxes all over them. And now you will see the art all on its own. So it's more of an artist edition omnibus than just an
nice.
ordinary omnibus, because you'll have a full prose page, a full bio page of each artist. Then you flip the page as a double page spread of the original black and white scans of their colors. Like, for instance, here's Jeff Darrow's piece. So here's Jeff Darrow's original art that I took out of a frame.
Oh, wow.
And scanned it in. It's on vellum. So you will see this art. This art's never been published before. And then you'll see the colored version of it by Hi-Fi Color.
You just got it
the colors
in the
are
background.
corrupted. And it's gorgeous. It is the most beautiful book we've ever put out. And it's a great read. There's a lot of extras in it. A lot of artwork that's never been seen or published before.
Right.
And if you haven't seen the trailer that we're getting ready to look at, just let you know, POPXP's Nile Scala created an experience for you. So definitely get ready.
Yes,
this is one of the greatest trailers I've seen in a long time for anything.
Thank you, Dr. Blevins.
Wow, well that's a hell of a hype job, guys.
Oh.
All right, here we go. 2 minutes 22 seconds. I like that. There we are. Here we are.
Worth every second.
Very nice. Wow.
I get very emotional when I watch that trailer, because a year before I came up with the idea to do this book and started calling around, and Jim Lee was the first person I called, and Jim said absolutely, because I had become friends with Jim over the summer of '94. Is that I came up with that idea, and we started putting together the book. It was a July release. We started putting it together in January of '95. And I remember a year before that, in January '94, Peter, I was so poor. I was 6 months behind in my rent. I was doing freelance work, trying to put together this comic book, a full color book. I had never done it before. I had no money. I was having troubles with my partners, who ended up being, anything but, tried to taking it over. And I just remember, whenever I see this trailer and just meeting all these other creators and becoming friends with them, hanging out with Joe Jusko, becoming friends with Joe Jusko, and Dan Jurgens, and giants, Adam Hughes, and Jason Pearson, and Terry Moore, and and just, they're like, yeah, I'll do that, sure, yeah, I'll do that, I guess they all liked She. And we were we were outlaws. We were like the little comic that could, in a way, if you will. And I get really emotional. The first time I saw the trailer that Niall put together, I'd written the script and everything and sent it to him and all the files. But I mean, he was just a virtuoso, and I got really choked up, with the music and all, because it just reminded me of just that you can do, if you are
how far you've come, man.
Yeah, and if you could do anything. You can do it. It can be done. No matter how many, like what you wrote about Rocky, no matter how many times you get knocked down. That's what really winning is. That's what accomplishment is. That, yeah, you're going to get knocked down. I've gotten knocked down so many times in my life. I can't even tell you how many times I've gotten knocked down and how poor we were and things like that. But, you get back up every single time, and you do it in spite of that. And it's here I am 30 years later, almost talking to you today.
And they'll never know that you got knocked down, Billy, because you always got back up without any kind of lull, man. I mean, good. Dude,
I'm like, my nickname is William Weeble Tucci, bro.
Weeble Tucci.
Weeble.
And also, just to
wobble, say, Pizza Medica. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
But they don't fall down. Another just absolutely incredible thing about this. You are right. You have like a who's who of artists that all contributed to this. And what a lot of people don't realize is, like, some of this was like the introduction of some of these artists that are amazing mainstays, and people that have passed. This is a glimpse back in history to one of the top times in almost all of their lives, in one of the greatest times of comic books.
Yeah.
Something that will never ever be recreated. Even though Billy's trying really hard with this Senryaku Omnibus, which is absolutely just really a snapshot of an amazing time in comics.
And these men and women that contributed to the book, again, like you said, they were at the peak of their talents, the peak of their popularity. And again, this was a time that will never be duplicated again in mainstream comics. And it was just wonderful. And again, to do a book talking, we talk about how, as this basically the stories are Anna's grandfather giving her life lessons and using bits, pieces of history. And we talk about how an example is, how the Spanish-American War started. You get history lessons, you learn about this. Another story is a buddy of mine who was in the Army when he was they were training in like El Salvador or something like that, Panama, in the Panamanian jungle. And they got attacked by monkeys, throwing coconuts at them and stuff because they invaded. They came into the monkeys' kingdom and they chased these soldiers out. Here's all these hardcore Army Rangers, with M4s and M60 machine guns, and also they're getting chased out by like hundreds of monkeys throwing. Like you can make this stuff up. So we use that story, Terry's story.
I wanna be like you.
Yeah, man, just great stuff. But again, it's something I'm so proud of, and again, I can't believe we pulled it off.
Wow, man!
And thank you all for making this a reality. Everyone who did buy the book, because the book is on the Indiegogo and on the Kickstarter. It's at $60, but this book will be $100 book because it's 240 pages, oversized. And it'll be a $99 price tag on it. I'm going to try to get it down, but printing prices are so high right now. So maybe, we'll see what Debbie says.
Especially for the good stuff.
80, but at least it'll be 80, 85, but it's looking real expensive right now.
Man, oh man. All right, so you're at 79,248. You're very close to 80,000.
Thank you. What do we got, 5 days left?
Yeah, 668 backers on board. I mean, you're absolutely going to hit 80,000. You could potentially hit 90, maybe even 100, right?
Yeah, we'll see. We're going to do, I'm hoping to do the closeout on the CG Kings on Monday night. So
wow.
And that'll be fun.
Very nice.
But the Jeff Darrow trading card is our next stretch goal. We've unlocked, I think, 7 stretch goals so far. And we're just going to hit them real quick as we're going now. So
wonderful stuff, Billy.
Yep. Jay Lee, what a beast. Adam Hughes, that's a piece that's never been published before. And just a lot of fun stuff.
Honestly, too, though, Billy, I mean, not for nothing, this book with all these people on it, it's a testament to you. It's a testament to how inspiring you are and your personality that shines through in your attitude. Because if you didn't have the right attitude, if you just created something nice, if you created exactly what this character is, but your attitude kind of stunk, you're not going to get people that want to be a part of your history.
Yeah.
So and how often is it? It's so true. You're the cliche, the darkest before the dawn, right? There's so many times, and it's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people out there. Everything seems like all hope is lost. You're at rock bottom, and there's no way to go but up. But the only way you're going to go up is if you listen to that moment, because there's always that moment of clarity where all of a sudden there's like that little inkling inside of you that's just like, I got nothing left. I might as well go for it. And then you do. Yeah. And more times often than not, people that do that, and you listen to that voice, and you pursue that, you all of a sudden 20, 30 years later, you have that story to tell. That exact story that you told.
Yes, sir. And I think that's why we also have the POPXP, because, people help me out. I mean, again, thank you, Fritzy. I had no money at all. I had partners that were going to that withheld the money, and one of my partners, I remember, I needed $4,500. I actually only needed $2,000 to pay for the diamond ad, and they held back. They wouldn't pay it. These partners who had this company in Manhattan, and they were going to back me and all this stuff, but they didn't. They had no money. And I remember him saying, if you think I'm going to spend $4,000 to promote your comic, you're out of your mind. And so he didn't pay. So I ended up getting Debbie, who thankfully my wife's aunt worked at a law firm, got the lawyers involved in it, and they really helped me out. Basically, because I was going to give them half the character, because they were threatening to sue me. I didn't know anything, so they're like, oh, absolutely not. And they crushed that. But the thing is that Diamond was going to Diamond was not going to give me the numbers, release the numbers. There was 3 major distributors. You had Heroes World and Capital City. They gave me the numbers. Diamond was the big one, though, and they wouldn't give me the numbers because I can't print the book without the numbers. And I remember the rep saying, you know what, Billy, let's just cancel this book and you can resolicit it in 6 months from now. And I'm like, no, this book's got to go now. I just knew this book was going to be big. And I just knew it was going to hit. And I went out and I borrowed money from friends and family, gave them 20% on their investment. And I raised that $4,500 to pay for the advertising. And what the rest they said.
And an entrepreneur was born.
Yep. But I was also so enthusiastic. I ended up going again. My mother knew someone who was who was a printer, and they were doing the color separations. And I met Fred Pierce from Valiant because he just happened to be there, and Fred Pierce was there because they did Valiant's color separations. And I walked in there to show them my book, and here's all the art. I don't know how color separations work, but I know here's the original art for the comic. Issue number 1 was hand painted, and number 2 were both hand painted by my buddy Barry Orkin. And Fred Pierce like, what is this? And he's looking at it, like, this is really good. I'm like, well, I got these orders. So, and I had 37,000 initial orders from the 3 distributors. I'm like, I got 37,000 orders, and I know this book's gonna go. And he's like, you know what? And Fred Pierce, and I owe him so much that he got on the phone and called his printer, which was Sparta Printer in Spartanburg, Illinois, I think, and he got them to print my book on spec. And they're like, you're going to pay them, right? I'm like, yes, absolutely. The first check I did get, I paid Comic Color, the separators, and Sparta Printing, and we made 50,000 copies. So the funny thing is, like, okay, so you have 37,000 orders. What do you want to print, 40? I'm like, no, I want to print 50. And I'm like, 50? Wait a minute. You're asking us for even more? We're doing this on spec. I'm like, this book's going to do well. And the thing was that within a month of sheet number 1 hitting the stands, we had reorders of over 140,000 copies.
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't have them. There's only 50,000. So, again, I'll never forget those people for the help. And again, that's probably one of the main reasons why we have the POPXP. We do crowdfunding comics, is because people gave me a hand up. And if I can help them and give them a hand up, why not?
Yeah, you're paying it forward.
Yep, why not? So.
Beautiful stuff, Billy. All right, Billy, we got 8 minutes left. I'm going to put the link one more time right here in the chat if you guys want to join with a quick question or comment for Mr. Billy Tucci.
Come on in.
Please feel free to join. There is the StreamYard link, and stop on in.
As B-Lev, how he gets his studio all badass looking like that.
Yeah, look at that.
Well, I do the unboxings for Marvel Crisis Protocol and Star Wars Legion and Games Workshop. So I've just been, it's been crazy. And I bought a country club. So it's been.
Did you just say you bought a country club?
I did indeed.
You bought a country club?
Yep.
What the?
Yeah.
Okay, explain.
Usually I call Billy all the time, but I've been so busy this last little bit. I came out of retirement.
What's the name of it?
It's called Foxwood Country Club.
Foxwood.
Yep.
We got Foxwoods over here. It's a casino.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I wish there was a way to get casino money over here. But no,
like get that casino money. What do you say,
dude? Well, we got to get the gambling laws overturned because they only have a couple areas where you can even gamble in our, like, we're the buckle of the Bible Belt, so yeah, they're not gonna let that happen. We're in a dry city. We can't even have alcohol, So, but no, like the city, we had a golf course here in town. It was going to shut down. The owners passed away, and there was nobody who wanted to take it over, and it was going to go up for auction. And I knew that if we lost it, it would be a huge detriment to the city. And there were some other people that wanted to buy it and like level the club and get rid of the golf course and put houses and stuff in there. And I contacted a couple of my buddies. I'm like, hey, look, I don't know anything at all about golf, but I know business. Like, this is a winner. Like, let's do it. And they, did a proposal and went to them. Next thing you know, like a month later, yeah, we got a golf course. Yeah, so it's pretty insane.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So
That's
got that.
incredible.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's a company called TCG Player. It got bought by eBay for $295 million last year, and they have recently contacted me about purchasing the Game Store name. And like if the money's right, I'm probably gonna end up selling the Game Store name to them. Like I own the GameStore.com and the GameShow.com, so gonna end up probably get rid of those as well.
That's incredible, man. I had no idea. Every time I talk to you, I learn something that's insane about you.
Well, I joke around a lot, but I mean, there's like when I came on before, there was a lot of joking around. Like I was just having fun. Plus, your show was incredible to do that with. Amazing people in chat, great creators coming on all the time. So I loved being involved with that. But getting back in the role of doing business, I mean, I definitely have been out of it for about 5 years since the roof caved into my store and I ended up closing it down and just retiring. But yeah, I've been really, really blessed. Got involved with old Billy the Tooch, which is something that just reading Wizards magazines back when I graduated high school. I said, this is the guy that I want to be involved with, and then 30 years later it happened. It's just insane.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
Didn't mean to make this about me. What's up? This is all about Billy the Tooch. And,
well, you come on here and you should be wearing the sunglasses.
Man.
You come on here and you're like, you got a country club.
Yeah, why not? B-Lev wearing his sunglasses.
Oh man, that's incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations and good for you, man. That's great.
Stuff. Wait, there's more, Peter. You need to definitely check your Twitter so we can chat.
Okay. All right.
I definitely reached out to you specifically about what I have going on.
Okay.
Billy already knows what it is. It's
yeah, man.
Man, oh man. Okay, Gerald Lang says, got to hit the sack, otherwise I would pop on to thank Billy in person for the art advice he gave me at New York Comic-Con in '95.
Wow.
He told me to do me in my art. Be true to myself in my style of watercolor.
Heck yes. And still do that to this day.
And Gerald's got a book called Shokai, which is
excellent.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of She. At least like it could sit side by side and enjoy the same readership. He's I think I showed his trailer for his figure.
Oh, earlier. Cool. That's his? Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And he's working on that. Man,
excellent.
Man. All right. So, okay, at this point in time, everybody, if you're not coming on the show now, forever hold your peace, because we're going to wrap this up in 2 minutes.
Can I say one more thing about a book?
Yeah.
I've been looking at all the books that have been coming out recently. It's been I don't understand what's going on. Like it seems like the major comic books, like they just want to sell books by them covers without books by the cover without any kind of thought to the interiors or stories or anything. But I'm about 3/4 of a way through a book that I was reviewing by Al Nickerson, who was actually in the chat earlier. It's called Sword of Eden by Al Nickerson, and it is absolutely been incredible as well. So there are still good books being made. It's just unfortunately they're not really like.
Yeah, you gotta work a little harder nowadays to find them. Not too hard, but stuff like this makes it a lot easier. Before we do go, I wanted to have one question for you guys.
Yeah.
When it comes to things like YouTube and just getting out there and doing a video, being a guest on a show, running your own channel, etc. What do you guys love about that?
Mobilev.
One more time. I guess I only heard the half.
What do we love about it? I love the interaction. I personally love the
what do you love about doing the YouTube, whether it's being on someone's show or running your own?
Well, for me, what it is getting to meet all the artists and the people behind the work, and then getting to hear the origin stories about how they persevered through a world where not everybody was really accepted or even given a fair shot into doing their work. I mean, sometimes you have businesses that are not focused on what they should be focused on, and a lot of really great talent slips through the cracks. And instead of just giving up, they decided to go forward and take a chance on themselves, which I think nothing says that you're more of a person than taking a chance on yourself. Like, to bet on yourself at all times is one of the greatest things that you could do. So seeing all these people, knowing that every single person that I get to interact with online went 100% in on themselves and thought that much about themselves and what they had to offer, that they jumped in, is just incredible and awe-inspiring. So that's what I love about it.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, well said. You said it perfectly. Man, that's exactly how I feel too. Exactly how I feel. So if you're out there and you're watching, whether it's this episode or the rest of the episodes in this series or any episode that's on Comic Book Radio, there's been so many people on here so far, especially hosting the hosts, that have offered great advice, and a lot of them have said relatively the same things. And it's all about you guys going out there, putting your best foot forward, of course, bringing the energy, bringing you, being uniquely you. Lean into that. You know, don't look for someone else to emulate and then think, okay, I'll do what they're doing, I'll go be like them. You can only run so far with that. You know,
Yes,
find what you really care about, what you're passionate about. Lean into that and talk about that. Be you. It sounds so corny and cliche, but man, nowadays more than ever, all you see is people who are looking to someone else that they think is popular or successful or whatever, and they want to emulate them constantly. You know, and we're losing this uniqueness across the board, but at the same time, people are coming in that are being unique and are having this voice, and then they're drawing people in and going, hey, you know, that makes me want to have my own voice. That gives me inspiration and makes me want to do these things too. So gravitate towards that, because seriously, that's the only way forward. All this kind of stuff that's put out there that just, you know, it points you to the thing to go be just like that and go be a copycat.
Right.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Exactly. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes a copycat.
Exactly. Sameness is boring. And that's the thing, you know, again, going back full circle, and we're going to leave it on this, you know, the more we see the push towards this false version of diversity, the more you actually, if you pay attention, the more you realize things are getting more and more the same. It's getting more homogenized, you know, so be uniquely you and lean into that. Stato says, heck of a good show, except for that bird part. What the heck was that? Have a great night, all. Stato, thank you for joining the show with your question. It was great. And hey, Al Nickerson says, love you guys. Many thanks. God bless. All the best to you with your book. You said that was Sword of Eden?
Sword of Eden.
Sword of Eden. Where is that right now?
I will tell you, I don't know where all it is.
Is it a website, Al? Is it a website? Is it on a crowdfunder? Where are you at with that book?
On Amazon, I know.
On Amazon.
Where else it was?
Okay. All
right. It's on Amazon. But yeah, I mean, absolutely incredible book. So,
right. So Sword of Eden on Amazon. Go check that out by Al Nickerson, and go, of course, check out Shi Senryaku, the Omnibus by Mr. Billy Tucci. Right here, it is at, let's see, 79,248 with 668 backers on board. There's 5 days left. He's very, very close to the $80,000 mark. But, you know, forget all that. Forget about trying to get Billy to 80,000. Get the book for yourself.
Yes.
So go check it out. It's got a lot of great art in there. I mean, we saw that trailer. It's incredible. The link is in the description of the show, so guys, go check it out immediately following this show. Everybody, take it easy. Brent Blevins, thank you so much. Billy, thank you, man. Always a pleasure. And everybody in the chat, thank you guys as well. Seriously, all the best to you guys. And I'll be back tomorrow night at 9 o'clock with Aaron Lopresti. That's 9 o'clock Eastern.
Awesome.
Yeah, Lopez is on the channel. We're gonna get a little cha-cha-cha from Lopez.
Cha-cha-cha.
Everybody, have a wonderful night. This has been Comic Book Radio, hosting the hosts, episode 5, with Billy Tucci from POPXP and superstar guest star Brian Blevins, also from POPXP. That's him. That's him.
That's it.
All right, everybody, take it easy.
Peter.
Wonderful
Bye, everyone.
night.